What the fuck is happening here?
Tom Nook has transitioned into a non-binary lesbian Yumeshipper, and he's here to collect his debts.
Huh? First of all, wouldn't it be they have transitioned into an NB lesbian? Tisk tisk. How could you be so fake woke here? Second, worst case Ontario, I can seduce him so we don't have to pay any bells this month to keep these headquarters here.
You think I haven't already tried that?
Fuck!
Who the fuck is Tom Nook, and why are we yelling?
Because we're going to lose everything.
Because I have AIDS!
Okay, let's think this over rationally. This doesn't look like Tom Nook, it looks more like a random person who made a bad video on Yumeshipping. You guys want to cover it?
Oh, never mind then. Sure.
Okay, sure.
I remember 19 saying this is the point where it stops. The journey, the destination, to expanded and prolonged. Vocal manifestos, comprehensive convictions. Introduce my future self, a living contradiction. Oh no!
For a while now, I've been seeing videos pop up discussing self-shipping, also known as Yumeshipping. Considering I myself am a Yumeshipper, I thought I'd throw my own hat in.
What fucking hat? SMH my head. You're such a dirty liar. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, assumably they already threw it.
By the way, we aren't going to criticize their microphone, if only because they appear to have gotten a better one following this video.
More specifically talking about non-sharing, as a non-sharer. I'm mainly taking inspiration from the videos by Fairy Draws and Ghosty Voo for this one, so go check those out. Now I know I just threw a lot of words at a lot of people who might not understand, so let's start off with the terminology that you'll be seeing for this video. What is self-shipping? Self-A shipping, or Yumeshipping, is a term to describe those who ship oneself with a character. The term self-shipping is a bit more literal with this, using the term self in its name. Meanwhile, the term Yume comes from the Japanese word for dream. The meaning the term Yume Joshi translates into dreaming girl, but people prefer the term Yumeshipping as a gender-neutral term for it.
I love how the term Yume Joshi was thrown in with no context on what it actually is.
Isn't it those teenage girls who are really obsessed with gay men?
No, that's me. It's actually a Japanese fandom term that refers to, well, basically the same thing Yumeshipper means, except it specifically refers to women. My issue with the name dropping of this term is just the fact that they didn't elaborate and explain what the term meant, because anybody who's not educated on the topic, which is what I assumed this video was meant to do, educate people on the topic, wouldn't know that this term basically has the same meaning as Yumeshipper. I think that should have been explained or not used at all.
Also, not all Fujoshis are teenagers. Some of them are trans women in their late 20s, such as friend of mine, Hetty.
Also, hi, Japanese gal here. The term Yumeshipping is also pretty much not even remotely a term that came out of Japan. It was effectively stolen by white people who thought, I'm so quirky and definitely not disabled, and I want to be animal in real life. Think of it like how yaoi and yuri are now used as the common terms for gay relationship pairings online.
White people, am I right? Get it? It's funny because I'm white. Please laugh at my self-deprecating joke.
Ha 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 ha!
So Lucy is allowed in H-Mart. Also, as a new Japanese person,
I didn't give you that title yet!
I listen to subliminals, okay? I just want to add how strange it is to combine a Japanese term with an American suffix. At least in the cases of yaoi and yuri, it is just the Japanese words. This would be like if I called something a konnichiwa hello.
This all makes me wonder why people didn't just start using the terms yumejoshi or yumedanshi. If they wanted to be sugoi, why not be fully sugoi? These people are fake Japan fans, SMH.
Self-shipping isn't solely romantic, which is very important to note.
Well, no, like, here's the thing. Shipping is in the goddamn name. You can't just say that Yume shipping isn't always romantic when, by all means, that is the fucking point. That'd be like me saying not all bonfires are hot. Like, the fuck are you even on about?
I won't deny the idea that purely sexual Yume shipping could be a thing, but like, I don't see how Yume shipping that isn't either romantic, sexual, or both can exist while still being Yume shipping. That's just called liking a character. Basically, everyone does that. It isn't some special niche thing. I'm not a Yume shipper because I think a character is cool.
I mean, shit, if it gets to a sexual type of funny, then just bite the bullet and call it porn. Cause that would just be more apt. Like, just because you're fucking someone doesn't mean you're dating them, let alone a fictional character. Get real.
For those unaware, the entire concept of shipping comes from the fandom for The X-Files, where people would write fanfictions of characters in that show in relationships, with those who specifically wanted to see the characters of Mulder and Scully in a relationship, calling themselves Relationshippers, which was shortened to shippers. This is actually why people use X in the title of shipping fanfiction to this day, fun fact. Here's the million-dollar question. If your shipping relationship fails to fall under these categories, why not just use a different term given you failed to communicate what you're discussing in the first place?
What are FOs? FOs, or fictional others, are characters that a self-shipper feels a certain way towards.
I feel a certain way towards literally everybody I come across because I have some feeling related to them, even if it's just total apathy. Fundamentally, you aren't actually communicating anything through saying things like this, and due to that, you've failed to give your audience any real explanation as to what you're going on about.
Like, I get what you mean, but come on, why are you dancing around this discussion as if it's, like, inappropriate? It's shipping. We aren't talking about porn or whatever.
Yes.
Typically, it's romantic, but there's also platonic and familial. There are.
First of all, why would you include platonic or familial for that matter? Those, by definition, do not have any type of correlation to romance as they are platonic. It doesn't fucking work that way, dog.
Second of all, how are you including platonic and familial feelings into Yume shipping but not sexual feelings? This makes no sense to me. Are you trying to keep the video family friendly or are you just stupid?
The other thing is that including the familial can be horribly taken out of context. Like, I'm willing to give you benefit of the doubt that you didn't mean anything incestual.
Sweet home Alabama.
But this could very well be taken the wrong way. If I were you, I'd just omit that inclusion altogether. It saves you a headache and me an aneurysm.
And considering the idea of familial Yume shipping is fucking ridiculous in and of itself, this is not a great thing to bring up. Saying something that can be taken out of context, that's fine. Saying something stupid that can also be taken out of context, stop talking.
Can I get a source for any of these definitions, by the way? And here's my main question. Does everyone who watches Felix the Cat count as a Yume shipper? I mean, when you do...
You laugh so much your sides will ache, your heart will go pit-a-pat watching Felix, the wonderful cat.
There are also a few other types of relationships that people can have with a fictional character, but I'm unsure if those have terms.
Then why not look it up?
Stop eating sand.
But I'm hungry.
We've been over this!
Someone who self-shipped with, let's say, Jack Skellington would refer to him as an FO. Another term I've seen is fictional crush, but I'm unsure if the two terms are interchangeable.
Isn't this video supposed to inform me about the topic at hand? Because this is the second time you've pleaded ignorance to something you should be more than aware of if you want to present yourself as an authority.
Wait. So, like, no, again, that's not even how words work, you fucking swabs. Because having a crush means, you know, developing feelings for somebody that are of a romantic nature, whilst a ship or relationship is an actual romantic situation going on between two or more people. So no, you can't be in the twilight zone of crushing whilst being in a relationship, because if that's what you think love is, then I honestly think you should find somebody who doesn't keep leaving you on red.
Wait, maybe you can have a crush on your FO while in a relationship with them if you get into an arranged Yumeship.
Sharing. Sharing is the act of sharing an FO with other people or other fictional characters. Like, if two people liked the same character,
And sharing is caring, ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
First off, sharing is sharing. They do make a valid point. Secondly, what the fuck do you mean by sharing? You don't own any of these fictional characters unless you literally have the rights to their, well, copyright.
Maybe this terminology would make more sense if it was NOC or something, but it isn't. Don't worry, Yumeshippers, I'm officially sharing all the characters from Souls Meant to Burn with you guys.
This person is drawing Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life, and they literally say they non-sharing Yumeship with the character. But since when did they have any rights to the character? Do you own the trademark? Or could, and I'm not saying this is likely, somebody with more authority than you cease and desist your artwork? Because best as I can tell, it's Viacom CBS that owns the character, not you. They're the only ones with any ability to determine if somebody can or can't share a character.
Also, is it just me, or is this also weirdly possessive considering, like you mentioned earlier, you don't own Rocco? But also, most healthy relationships don't have somebody be so goddamn jealous to a point where interactions are controlled. But hey, I'm just getting ahead of myself, aren't I? Wink.
and were open to discussing their self-ships with said character, it would be considered sharing.
Even though that's not what the word sharing means in the first place. Like, is Rocco shipping something you can lend out to others? I still don't get any of this. And yes, I do blame you for that, given this is supposed to be you informing us about the topic. Let me put it like this. I have no doubt in my mind that some Yumeshipper videos answer all of the questions I have put forward in this commentary. However, it isn't my job to watch other videos on this topic in hopes of learning more. I should be able to get everything I need to know without looking into this further because you already presented yourself as knowledgeable and therefore able to give me everything I need in this regard.
If you recognize the character or the self-ship on screen, you might know me better as Static Shipstation on Tumblr.
I have never heard of you before in my entire life. Creature.
Or Max Static on Blue Sky. Totally not plugging those in the video so you can follow me. I don't know, go follow me. I've been self-shipping for around 10 years now, but was made aware of the term 6 years ago. All of this to say that I got a lot of experience under my belt with this stuff. I've been kissing fictional characters for so long that if my self-shipping history was a person, they'd be in 5th grade at this point.
That is a statement. That sure is a thing you just said. This was worded absolutely horribly.
How do you kiss a fictional character? Do you, like, use VR or something? I'm very confused.
No, he's just recreating the ending of famous and hit creepypasta Lost Episodes.
How many creepypasta references are we going to have in this commentary?
Hashtag spy plushie.
All of this to say that I've been self-shipping for a long time. However, in the past few years, I was made aware of the term non-sharer, a rather controversial term in the community and a controversial identity. One that I call myself. Max, what the hell is a non-sharer?
Ephraim is confused by this random jump to third person.
Max Static is Dr. Doom confirmed?
Foot die!
As implied by the name, a non-sharer is someone who is uncomfortable with sharing their FO. To explain this in an easier way, I'll set up a situation. Person A. They self-ship with Bowser. This is Person B. They also self-ship with Bowser.
Yeah, no unfortunate implications with using a person who is famous for getting kidnapped by Bowser in your hypothetical about shipping with him.
Also, totally no other unfortunate implications with another person who is famous for nearly being murdered by Bowser either. Nope, nothing to see here.
Hey, who doesn't like their yaoi a little toxic? Wait, Peach is a woman. What is it called when a woman and a man are in a relationship again?
Straight people.
A and B both talked about their own Bowser self-ships with each other. However, we also have Person C who also self-ships with Bowser, but is uncomfortable with others talking about their own self-ship.
Oh no, guys, the child murderer king as score dreamer doesn't want Mario and Peach to share Bowser. Jesus fucking wept!
Same person who says pro shippers and com shippers DNI, by the way. Funny how that works.
Now, normally this wouldn't even be something we'd get on necessarily, but like, come the fuck on, dog! Like, Peach and Bowser would be a com ship by definition, which to those who happen to be of the employed variety, I'll explain. Com shippers or com shipping stands for complicated ships. This category is reserved for abusive ships and the like. Wanna know what would be abusive? Kidnapping someone! Shit! Mario and Bowser would be objectively worse because Bowser tries to kill Mario at several points. Okay. I understand these were visual aids for the viewers, but this inadvertently shot the vase which ricocheted off of it and then shot you in the foot. Just for the love of God, please think more of the implications of what you put on screen, let alone what the proper implications of your fucking DNIs are, because, you know, ultimately, that just makes you look like a weird hypocrite. But we'll get to that later.
With Bowser. I'm one of those people, but I don't romantically self-ship with Bowser. I self-ship with an underpaid Aussie cashier named Rocco from the hit show Rocco's Modern Life.
We could fucking tell. What is it with Yumeshippers, especially non-sharing Yumeshippers, constantly talking about their FO as if it's like relevant to the discussion? Like, respectfully, whether or not you want to make out with Rocco doesn't actually matter in this discussion, so there's no use in bringing it up. It literally adds nothing.
Now, you might say, but guys, it makes perfect sense, because they're a Yumeshipper. Yeah, okay, that makes sense on paper, but if you think about it at all it actually does is drag the pacing on and on. Because, you know, it was already hella apparent that you already shipped yourself with Rocco. Fuck, it's your PFP, for God's sakes. And this is an issue that plagues the rest of this video, because fuck armadillos, that's why.
Often non-sharers get stereotyped as these people who will call for your head on a pike if you even breathe around their FO.
Ah yes, direct attention towards the worst of your crowd to defend your own belief of non-sharing, because that makes perfect logical sense. Like, nah, miss me with that bullshit, because like explained earlier, Rocco is not a character that you own. So even if you aren't like, say, the Sans fangirls, you're still wrong, just in a different font. I swear to God, I am going to Jeff the kill myself.
Lucy's gonna throw a thing of bleach on herself.
Go to sleep.
Also, they are? Can I please see some examples? Again, I have no idea what the fuck any of this means.
But as someone who's involved with this community, this is the farthest from the truth. The worst someone will do is, like, block you, but that's really only if you two have interacted maybe once or twice, or you don't know each other at all.
Are you sure about that? You literally just mentioned the Sans fangirls. Like, sure, that was then and this is now, but also, that is still a prominent example from the Yume shipping community that did exist. You can't just ignore or undo it. You can't unfuck the Thanksgiving turkey because your mom gave you back your Nintendo Switch. That's not how this works!
You want an example of someone who actually identifies as a Yumeshipper doing more than blocking doubles? Not too long ago, I stumbled across a non-sharing Zim Yumeshipper on Pinterest who said this about their hypothetical doubles. For this person, blocking their doubles isn't enough, I guess. They have to publicly shame them, I guess, and make them feel bad for Yumeshipping with this character. Pretending that all non-sharing Yumeshippers just respectfully block doubles is kind of stupid because every group has its extremes and it's important to acknowledge their existence, to be honest.
I don't know, man. If you get upset at some random person blocking you out of the billions of people on the internet, I think that might just be a you issue.
Well then, I don't know, Max. Maybe if you're getting irrationally uncomfortable and upset at people for shipping themselves with a character you don't fucking own, then perhaps, maybe, just fucking maybe, you have a problem, fucker!
Yeah, it's almost like this appeal to mockery fails to work if only because it's incredibly reversible. And who is to assume upset is the reaction this hypothetical person has? You keep making assumptions about those who are opposed to you fail to back up.
Projection is a concept where...
I just want to let the audience know that from this point I kind of gave up writing a script, so at this point I'm probably going to be either repeating my words, rambling, or just saying a lot.
So wait, this was your best so far?
At least you're admitting the fact that this video is gonna be shit from here on out, but I think the better option would have been to, like, not make this video.
I think an important thing to talk about when talking about non-sharers is the fact that, like, we don't hate you for self-shipping with this character. I don't think I could ever hate you for finding the same appeal that I do in a character.
Wait, how do you know this is the universal opinion among Yumeshippers? Did you personally run a poll or something? And if so, can you show me the results?
Like, did you just walk into the Yumeshipping community and say that you'll never share Rocco and then get crowned as the king of Yumeshippers?
Again, I am trying to be as neutral of an outsider as possible, hence why I haven't just called you insults for being a Yumeshipper or anything of the sort, but I am fundamentally confused as to where you keep getting all of this information. To speak personally, I did some basic research and found things like a Reddit post, which, to be fair, didn't happen until after the video came out, saying somebody was harassing them for engaging in a ship with the character Stuart.
However, it's just uncomfortable for that to exist in the same space as me. I don't feel uncomfortable with you existing, I feel uncomfortable with you existing around me.
Which is still being bothered and mad at someone else for existing because of something this fucking small and trivial, which is just fundamentally irrational. Shut your face.
Like, you can have your weird Yumeshipper boundaries all you want, but they aren't above criticism. Most reasonable critics of the Yumeshipper community understand that you don't want all your doubles to explode, at least to my knowledge, unless you have any examples of critics making this argument. I don't see the point in saying this.
If that makes sense and doesn't make me sound like a complete douchebag. There are plenty of reasons that people can be non-sharers. The most popular that I've seen, or the most common that I've seen, is someone is fictiosexual.
Ah, yes, because fictisexual is totally a real orientation. Like, sure, it is listed on the orientation wiki, but there's just one single glaring red-headed stepchild of a flaw. That being, it's a fandom wiki ran by guys who probably aren't qualified in LGBT studies and the like. That'd be like saying on the quote-unquote terminal disease wiki that chronic dumbassery, a condition where you shove your own head up your colon and suffocate to death, is a totally real and proven condition because source, trust me bro.
Fun fact, Lucy, this webpage literally cites itself regarding its definition of fictosexual. Seriously, there's one part where it gives the definition of the term, and its source is its page on the topic from June 10th, 2024. Another source for this article, by the way, is a paper from the journal Frontiers in Psychology on this very topic, which has been considered a questionable publisher for several years by this point, and which nearly got sued for defamation at one point because of its bad research.
The idea of fictosexual as an LGBT term is ridiculous because comparing other LGBT terms, or even other ace-arrow spectrum terms, to a term that essentially amounts to a fetish is kind of stupid. Being attracted to fictional characters exclusively is fine, don't get me wrong, and I definitely see how it could correlate to asexuality, but it's not a sexuality on its own. That's like saying podophilia, or the fetish for feet, is also a sexuality. Sure, you can have a foot fetish, that's fine, but it's not a sexuality. And I mean, hell, identify how you want. I'm not gonna tell you you can't, but I just think that the idea that this is a sexuality and not a fetish of some kind is kind of silly.
And the reason fetishes aren't sexualities is simply due to the fact that fetishes are exclusively what someone likes during sex as opposed to attraction based on biological sex or gender. TLDR, get fucking real!
Anyway, I also want to point out this bottom text here that, is kind of fucking stupid. If a relationship between you and a fictional character is just as real as a relationship between two real people, then, that would kind of be #problematic, Mr. Pro Shipper's DNI. Fictional characters cannot consent, and all actions taken by this character must be dictated by a real person. Essentially, they have absolutely no autonomy. So if we pretend for a second that Yumeshipping is a real relationship, then it would be not only incredibly toxic, but non-consensual. Essentially, it would be the equivalent of kidnapping someone and forcing them to be your partner.
Regarding the text, I want to add that your relationship with fictional characters can't be just as real as relationships with real people because one party in those relationships isn't fucking real.
Fictiosexual is the term where people are sexually or romantically attracted to a fictional character. It's not really something that they can control and isn't something that they can help.
Which are different things, I guess.
Another reason I've seen is that the character is extremely personal to the self-shipper. This is something that I'd say I am.
Okay, so here's the thing that I don't think you understand. You can have a personal attachment to a character. That's fine. Whatever! The problem, however, is when you completely disregard the fact that you don't actually own the rights to, nor are the creator of Rocco, and then be mad at people for shipping themselves with a character that you don't fucking own!
Oh, that's a double Yumeshipping with my comfort character.
In regards to non-sharing, the characters that I am non-sharing with are typically extremely, personal to me and helped me out during terrible, awful times.
How could they help you? They aren't real.
I understand what you mean by this. You're saying that you were able to find comfort in this character when you were having a hard time, but this was worded weirdly and makes you sound like you think Rocco is a real person who, chose to physically help you, which really doesn't help your case of sounding just a tad delusional.
Despite me explaining why there might be some reasons why someone might be non-sharing, I really want to drive the point home that non-sharers don't owe you an explanation for their boundaries.
Then why attempt explaining these boundaries in the first place if you really feel this way? Why not just live in your own little circle where people never get the chance to learn about these terms because they're little more than personal boundaries enforced on a person on a peer-to-peer level? Also, there are times where people are owed explanations for the boundaries of others. If I place a restraining order on somebody, they are owed an explanation in the form of a court hearing.
You can't say, "We don't owe you an explanation," and then be shocked when people don't fucking understand why you're so dedicated to a character that you feel basically cheated on when you see someone who's also dedicated to the same character. Not that an explanation really makes it much better, but you get my point.
Really, that's what non-sharing is. It's a boundary. You don't have to understand it, you just gotta respect it.
People get built different. We don't need to figure it out, we just need to
Okay, so I get your whole point of just respecting people and all that jazz, but the way this point is worded leaves the window open for the worst possible interpretations, like, I guess that I could just turn a blind eye to murderers, pedophiles, zoophiles, terrorists, war criminals, racists, homophobes, transphobes, people who drink diet soda. What? You both heard the man and Princess Bubblegum say it. It's fine, because they're all just built differently, and we just gotta accept that. Now, jokes aside, do I actually think that you think those are all fine as concepts? No. But again, the way you word yourself is rather important, and is why you should have scripted the rest of this fucking video.
People who disrespect Yumeshippers, them too. You have to respect them, despite making a whole video arguing, hey, I love diet soda.
Fuck you, Efron.
Respect it.
In this part of the video, I want to discuss more of how to make yourself comfortable in the self-ship community as a non-sharer, if you think that you're a non-sharer. This part of the video will be discussing how to state your boundaries, how to...
Hey, I'll do this premise, like, way faster. Hey, can you not ship yourself with this character around me? Okay, thanks, bye!
well, discuss things with certain people, how to block tags, etc., etc. Just an important note, I'm primarily talking about this as someone who posts mostly on Tumblr when it comes to my self-ship stuff, but I do think that most of the self-ship community is just on Tumblr, so I think that that's an important distinction to make.
And why would you think such a thing?
I don't know about you, but I see a lot of Yumeshipping content on TikTok too. Like, maybe you just don't go on TikTok and therefore don't know the Yumeship shenanigans that go on that site, but like, I'm not even a Yumeshipper and I constantly see Yumeship content on TikTok. That's gotta mean something, right?
For some websites, I don't know if you can block tags, I don't know how to block tags, so I don't know, go somewhere else if you want to figure out non-Tumblr stuff. The easiest way to make this well known that you are a non-sharer is by putting it in your user boxes /DNI banner. A DNI banner is just kind of something that you put under your main post in order for people to know what you want to interact with and who you're comfortable interacting.
If you need non-binary lesbian Tom Nook to tell you how to make a DNI list, I don't even know what to tell you. Hey kids, here's a fun fact. If you want people to know about a boundary, you should post the boundary. No fucking way.
All right, cut the comedy. Sorry, Charlie. Only the best tuna get to be star-kissed.
Like, yeah, sure, I can say all day that Rocco is my husband and all that, but...
Do I need to point out that he literally isn't? Do you have a marriage certificate with him or anything? Or, for that matter, does he have any say in entering this relationship in the first place? Probably not, given he's a fictional character.
Or, better yet, did you actually create him, let alone own the rights to him? No? Then shut the fuck up!
Like, come on, at least the woman who wanted to marry Sebastian Solis was part of the dev team.
The moment that I see content where he shipped with another character, it genuinely brings me such distress and makes me upset. And while there are ways to help cope with this, as in treating your own version of your FO as a separate version of the character you just saw, it's...
Again, these relationships are supposed to be just as valid as ones with real people. But you can't treat a human being as a different version of that person. If I get caught cheating, I can't just go, that's a different version of me who did that, because there's only one version of me that even exists.
Wait. If it's a different version of Rocco, then it's not really him. That kind of just, defeats the actual point of shipping yourself with Rocco, because that is no longer the original canonical form of that character that you fell in love with. What would even be the point?
Still not easy by any means, and I really hate this concept that some people have run along with, that non-sharers are inherently selfish and just choose to be like this. I would rather be someone that's comfortable with watching Rocco's modern life, because there are episodes where he does get a love interest, and sometimes it's just hard for me to watch. And it's not like I hate these episodes, nor do I hate the characters involved with it. In fact, I think Sheila and Claudette are really fun characters, and that's what kind of sucks. These aren't characters that I can just hate on a whim. I do care about them. And the thing is that I just kind of have to tell myself that Rocco is still important to me, and that they're just not canon.
Except they are more canon than your ship because they're part of the actual show.
This is exactly why I'm not a fan of the Yumeshipping community, especially regarding the non-sharing aspect. These people think it's totally normal to feel so upset over fictional characters that you have to convince yourself of things that aren't true. You know, like delusions, to keep yourself sane while watching a piece of media. This isn't normal.
I also just kind of hate this concept of someone staking claim on a character. I've seen this thrown around a few times, and I've even seen people in the community discuss it, but the concept that, like, claiming a character as your own is even a fucking thing in the self-ship community is horrible. Like, we're not brands. We don't need to, like, claim one character. Someone, and yeah, no, I do have associations with certain self-ships and certain characters. Like, every time I think about Jiminy Cricket, I think about my friend Barry, and there are other examples of this. But, like, to say that non-sharers are staking a claim on a character and claim that no one else can self-ship with them is just a fucking lie.
Huh? Like, what? No, how the fuck do you make this point and not see the active fucking contradiction here? You've gone on and on and on and on here with the implication that you have claimed to Rocco when you fucking don't. Now you're here saying that claiming a character for a Yumeship is bad and people shouldn't do it. Make up your fucking mind, you troglodyte!
Despite this video supposedly being for people who misunderstand or disagree with Yumeshipping, the video feels like it was made for Yumeshippers. Beyond actually explaining what the terms actually mean, none of these arguments would be at all appealing to people who dislike Yumeshipping unless they incredibly misunderstand the concept, which it's fine to clear up that misinformation, but I feel like this video isn't very useful if it's not also talking about the more nuanced arguments made against the community, such as how the concept of non-sharing, while not directly involving literally claiming a character and saying that nobody else in the universe can self-ship with that character, commonly implies an entitled sense of ownership over a character. This video also gives me this impression with the whole "they see this relationship as just as real" thing. Okay, well I don't, because that's stupid. If you aren't able to even attempt to convince me about why I should respect this borderline delusional and definitely unhealthy point of view, what's the point? Are you expecting everyone to just nod along at the very mention of these people feeling a certain way? Because that's not how this works, nor is that how reality in general works. This video does terribly at arguing its premise because it throws a bunch of BS, but our feelings arguments at the audience and then refuses to give any sort of explanation on why I should give even a singular fuck.
It's a hilarious fucking lie. Like, just because of the fact that I state that I'm non-sharing with Rocco doesn't mean I want nobody ever in existence of time to ever look at this character the same way again.
Yeah, you're not as extreme as you otherwise could be, I'll grant you that. What does that have to do with anything? And you mentioned this is a somewhat common misconception regarding Yumeshippers. Why is that? Are there extremists who go too far, or is that an unfounded accusation?
Yeah, I like being known as the Rocco guy, but I also think that other people are allowed to exist as someone who self-ships with Rocco. Do I want them around me? No. I don't want people self-shipping with Rocco interacting with me, but that doesn't mean that I don't think that they're still valid.
So, you do have a problem with people shipping themselves with Rocco, but then you don't, but then you actually do, but then you don't, but then you actually do, but then you don't, but then you actually do, but then you actually don't. I get knocked down, but I get up again, and I gonna break me down! Like, regardless of anything here, you still have an issue with people over self-shipping with Rocco, so why are you trying to do Schrodinger's Gish Gallop here? You aren't even a horse, for God's sakes!
Or name Schrodinger.
Oh, Schro dumbass. Got him. No, but seriously, he's just rapidly cycling through constant contradictory points and trains of thought that go faster than me speeding through a fucking school zone and at least running over 8 people, which in and of itself is a rather slimy way to argue, given all it really is just a poor attempt to obfuscate your dumbassery with tangents that have nothing to do with what you were even arguing at this point of the video.
He doesn't have an issue with people shipping with Rocco, just as long as they're not all in his face about it.
Here's the issue with this kind of argument. Yes, I understand that it makes you uncomfortable. And yes, I understand that you not wanting people who self-ship with Rocco to be in your vicinity is different than you wanting every Rocco self-shipper to drop off the face of the planet. But that's not the point. The point is that the feeling of being uncomfortable when other Rocco self-shippers are in your vicinity is fundamentally irrational and unhealthy. Hell, how old are you? Mid-20s? I know a 16-year-old that handles this issue better than you. My brother has similar issues with fiction, and guess what? He doesn't identify as a non-sharing Yumeshipper. He acknowledges that he has an irrational emotional response to things that don't matter, and doesn't try to turn it into a cute niche thing. How is a 16-year-old more mature than you?
It's just that you're valid from a distance, for a lack of better terms.
Consider what you're saying and how it sounds, especially to the LGBT people who I assume you want to include in your audience, given you, from what I understand, identify under that umbrella. I know I just joked about how this sounds very similar to "don't be gay in front of me" rhetoric, but this valid from a distance really has some unfortunate implications. I don't think you're a bigot or anything. I do think you have no ability to pick your words carefully.
Oh yeah, and let's not forget the fact that you want us to believe that Yumeship relationships are the same as actual relationships. This makes these similarities in your arguments even worse.
Can I bring my boyfriend Rocco to Thanksgiving dinner, or is that not okay because you're going to be bringing your boyfriend who is also Rocco?
Also, if we're going to try and connect Yume shipping to the LGBTQ+ like you've implied here, wouldn't it also be like a bad thing to alienate an entire section and aspect of the community and prop up some weird form of elitism? It seems strangely gatekeepy to just go, well, you're valid from a distance. Like Ephraim said, it has some rather unfortunate implications. It's like how there are some people, and I want to emphasize some, because not all, people in the lesbian community who do this exact same shit to trans women and bi women in order to prop themselves up higher than they actually are, which, fun fact, is bad, and you shouldn't effectively parrot that line of thinking, because worst case scenario, that line of thought causes people to get badly fucked up and hurt.
And if you think that comparing LGBT issues to Yumeshipping is extreme, then don't try to argue that Yumeshipping is just as real as an actual relationship. Be consistent.
What I mean to say is that you're valid regardless. But, like, just stay away from me.
Oh. Yeah, you're valid as long as you are over there being valid far away from me, because that's how valid identities work. They're things you aren't okay with being around you at any given time.
Self-shipping, in my opinion, is a beautiful way to express yourself and a beautiful way to heal yourself.
Assuming it's not around you, of course, because that's how you know something is beautiful, when you don't like looking at it.
Ah, yes. Roadkill mixed with mutated sewer slurries of irradiated shit is beautiful, but only when I don't look for it or smell it.
Also, how the hell is it, at least in the case of non-sharers, healing? If it causes you to feel genuinely upset when someone does the same thing in your vicinity, it seems kind of like the opposite of healing. If anything, it's causing more issues. I'm no psychologist, but this seems pretty shitty at being a coping mechanism.
And I don't think that we should be barring people from feeling certain things about it. Self-shipping is extremely personal, at least to me. And even though there are some people that just do it as a hobby, for a lot of people out there, these relationships are just as real as any other relationship.
No, they're not, because they're not fucking real, just like my dad.
This is definitional. Fundamentally, a relationship where every party is more real than one where only some of them are. What the fuck?
Like, I usually don't mind self-shipping as a concept until dumbasses pull out the "they're just as real" bullshit. Until you can have consensual sex with a fictional character, shut the fuck up.
Or even just go on a date with them, or communicate with them in general.
Jeez, at least buy him dinner first.
I can't. Robots can't eat.
MG, did you not watch the Don't Date Robots PSA?
We're being very discriminatory right now.
And that's important to acknowledge when coming into the self-ship community, is that not everyone's doing it to have a funny little hear me out cake moment. Sometimes people are doing it because it genuinely helps them in life. For an example, I was binge watching the entire series of Rocko's Modern Life with one of my friends a while ago, back when we were still, watching it for the first time together, and the episode S.I.C means a lot to me. If you don't know, the context for the episode is that Rocko is slowly losing his vision and has to go to the eye doctor to go get himself a prescription. I had expected that the episode would end with Rocko magically regaining his vision, as most episodic series did. But no, in the end of the episode, he confirmed that he got fitted for contacts, not removing his visual impairment. And this meant a lot to me as someone who was struggling with the fact that my vision was slowly going. Every day I kind of wake up and it's a bit of a fear of mine that one day my vision will be worse than it was the day before. So this episode not only, it meant a lot to me, is what I'm trying to say. And it even made me tear up at some point.
So that's nice and all, but this also kind of shows another issue with the whole "it's just as real" thing. If this relationship is just as real as an actual relationship, does the idea of being in a relationship to cope with, well, anything, not sound incredibly toxic? You're basically saying that you're Rocko's charity case. Sounds real healthy.
While part of being in a relationship is being there for each other when y'all need it, ultimately though, it should never ever get to a point where you or your partner has to use each other as a crutch because, you or them happen to be a fucking diseased emotional parasite. Trust me, out of anyone here, I know. This type of behavior is something that only causes the other person to resent you and eventually leave altogether once they wake up because the relationship is superficial and toxic. Please, cease this.
I also hope this isn't how you start relationships IRL. Like, do you pick up chicks at the eye doctor?
Assuming you do start real-life relationships in the first place.
Got him.
Maybe Rocko didn't give them permission to date real people.
You shouldn't be starting relationships with somebody just on the basis that you share some kind of disability with them. Relationships should be created on things like mutual interests or having personalities the other values, not because of vision issues.
Every time I struggle with homework, the way that I end up finishing it is just by promising myself that I'm going to watch Rocko afterwards, and it somehow works every single time. Add this with some body doubling and I get homework done relatively quick.
Pavlov's Modern Life.
Yeah, no, most of the time my body is a machine that turns meaningless tasks to pure medieval torture. I wonder if I can find that meme for this. But with the promise of seeing Rocko, my brain just activates in a way that it never has before. Self-shipping isn't just something that a lot of people do to be silly and funny, and by the way, if you do it to be silly and funny, you're entirely valid, and I hope that you have a nice day.
Repetition, repetition, repetition. Seriously, stop repeating yourself. Oh my fucking god. It'd be one thing if it was one more time, but I'm pretty sure you did this at least 3 other points with drawn out fucking segments of you making this point. Shit, you've done it so much that I actually think someone with Alzheimer's could remember this. Wait, I have Alzheimer's? Oh my god, I have Alzheimer's! Oh my god, I have Alzheimer's! Oh my god, I have Alzheimer's! Oh my god, I have Alzheimer's!
But with some people, it's genuinely something that helps them wake up in the morning. It helps them do things that they wouldn't normally be able to do on their own. FOs are so fucking magical, dude!
No, it isn't magical. What it is that you've actually just conditioned yourself via Rocko's Modern Life and you self-shipping with Rocko in order to do your daily tasks or chores or whatever. It's not the character being special, it's you being special spelled with a capital fucking R.
There's just this fictional guy in my head, and he makes me do things that I don't normally do. It's the reason why I'm making this fucking video. Like, another example of this is that I have been struggling to make art that I am really proud of recently, and then yesterday, I don't know what happened, I woke up and I produced not one, not two, but like 3 fully shaded pieces with Hardy-Rama. I don't know what happened, man. I was just built different that day. And today, I'm making an entire fucking video of me talking about this guy.
It was at this point in scripting I realized his relationship with Rocco is surprisingly similar to Popeye's relationship with spinach.
What?
No, like, he gets stronger when consuming it, you know what I mean?
Vor.
No, not vor, like, okay, so whenever Popeye eats spinach, he gets stronger, and this person gets stronger when thinking about Rocco.
Vor.
No, but, okay, you know Popeye, he becomes stronger when eating spinach, and it's not vor.
Vor.
You know what? Fuck you guys.
Vor wins!
And with all this yapping, with all this blabbering, with all this fucking talking, chit-chatting in mind, is it really any question as to why people are anti-sharing? Why some people feel uncomfortable with the concept of, someone else ships this character, or even another fictional character is paired off with this character? I can also understand the opposite, too, to have this excitement for this thing that means so much to you, and to be able to share it with someone else. But like all people, we're all built different, and we all have our limits and our own approaches to these things. Sometimes something is just far too personal to share with someone else.
It's so personal to you that it's a character somebody else made.
But sometimes you just get so excited over this thing that makes you happy that you can't help but share it with other people.
Like a real relationship where you regularly force your partner to date other people.
Also, sharing? Hey, wait a minute. Ain't that the antithesis of your entire point? Kinda makes you look a little bit hip and crispy.
People. Regardless, you love this character. You love this FO of yours. And even if it's just done for the silly, then done for maybe mental health reasons, this character means something to you. Regardless. And I feel like as a community, we can all unite on this love of fictional characters. Because they do mean that much.
Except when it comes to other Rocco Yumeshippers. Then they have to stay away from you. That is literally the opposite of united.
To us. And just to say that one variant of this is more valid than the other would be absolute fucking horseradish. Poppycock, if you will. But I just am so happy that self-shipping is slowly starting to become more known, even though this does come with its flaws, like people are more aware of it, therefore can bully us more because they know of our existence, or because there are people now gatekeeping self-shipping. The one good thing that people can know of this is that, 1, you're not alone on being someone that's attracted to fictional characters, and 2, that, well, we're getting new people. We're getting new people who understand us, and that's good. All I hope is that people...
Fuck you and your mother. I am being that bitch for a second. Learn to fucking audio balance! The music, especially the bass section of this song, actually overpowers your voice to a noticeable degree. Your microphone quality in this video in particular also doesn't help either.
What did this person's mother do?
Larceny, aggravated mayhem, grand theft, tax evasion, drug possession, arson, failure to appear in court, throwing missiles in Colorado with your bare hands, terrorism.
Oh shit, my bad then.
Are coming into this community understand and respect the boundaries of others, and of people like me who wanted to make this video coming from the perspective of a non-sharer, because a lot of the videos I saw were from the perspective of sharers who were absolutely supportive, by the way. But I feel like as a non-sharer, I wanted to provide my own perspective on non-sharing that isn't just defending it and being like, well, just respect about boundaries. I wanted to give you an insight on it, on what it's like being a non-sharer, even though most of this video was just me rambling about how I love a fictional wallaby with all my heart. But yeah, this video has been fucking
That is literally what you've been doing throughout this entire video. Yapping about something boundaries when that doesn't actually explain why it's valid. And your whole thing about you and Rocco was, again, just about emotions and didn't actually add to your damn argument. If you want to yap about a fictional character, do that on your fucking Tumblr. This isn't the time or the place.
everywhere, so I think this is my cue to just wrap it up in a nice little bow. Thank you for watching.
$200. Why? For inundating me with this fucking bullshit.
My final thoughts here are just pretty simple. This video was structured like garbage. There were several points where you could have actually worded yourself way fucking better, because, you know, it left you wide open to the worst possible interpretation, like fucking ever. And, please seek help. I'm not even joking. I'm dead ass, like, please fucking seek help. This shouldn't be affecting you as badly as it has here, and it does actually have me worried. That's all I have to say.
My final thoughts on this video is just that it overall sucked at what it was trying to do and couldn't even really decide properly what it wanted to do. You started out being somewhat informational, but then it just kind of spiraled into you info dumping about your fucking self-ship. It is no secret that I am not a fan of the Yumeshipping community, and if I or someone else who also does not like the Yumeshipping community wanted to watch this to gain more insight on the community and essentially educate themselves to make sure they have their facts right, they'd leave the video fucking pissed because all the arguments that you made were fucking bullshit, and then the rest of the video was you just talking about your fucking self-ship as if that gives me any real perspective at all. Like, yes, I understand that you feel this or that way towards this character for this or that reason, but why should I care? That is a question I believe most videos that are trying to convince you of something should answer. Yet you don't. You don't even really touch on it. You just give these arguments that feel less like you trying to convince me that you are correct and more like you just preaching to the choir. And hell, this person's Tumblr that they mention in their video is a whole other fucking cesspool. For example, on this Tumblr, it is revealed that this person also self-ships with Amy Rose, a character that is canonically about 12 or 13 years old. Yet their justification for doing this, yet not being, I guess, a lolicon, is the fact that they, quote, see her as an adult. Yet again, isn't this supposed to be the same as a real-life relationship? This isn't making sense to me. You can't date a 12-year-old and then say, well, I saw them as older than they were. That's not how that works. And especially if you want to put on this whole pro-shippers, com-shippers, DNI bullshit, you probably shouldn't Yumeship with a character who's barely a fucking teenager when you're in your mid-20s. And listen, if this was just happening in a vacuum, I wouldn't really give that much of a shit. I would think it's weird and then I would move on with my existence. I am a pro-fic after all. I don't fucking care what you want to do in fiction. However, I do start to have kind of an issue with this when you then go on to try and virtue signal by being all pro-shippers and com-shippers DNI when you're really not that far from being one yourself. All I'm saying is that it's fucking wild to be an anti-shipper and then self-ship with a 12-year-old. And honestly, the bullshit that's on their Tumblr just kind of cements the fact that this person might be a little cuckoo crazy. Just a little bit. So, yeah, that's my final thoughts on the situation. This person is kind of fucking insane, and the Yumeshipping community is kind of fucking annoying.
Anyway, my final thoughts are just, we didn't write any final thoughts or an ending sketch or anything, so yeah, the video's over, I guess.